We are live. Welcome everyone to Shifting Lanes Garage, Shifting Lanes on Facebook. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in or about to tune in, I should say. Greg, how you doing, buddy?
I am super. I have juice. I have a fast car behind me. I am in good spirits. How about yourself?
Doing fantastic. Just exhausted. Um,
Same here, man. Same here.
so
We're always exhausted
yes, we are. If you're
because
not,
we are old.
yeah.
What's up, Justin? Welcome to the show, as usual.
Justin, big fan of Weird Lotuses.
Which we will talk about later.
Yes, we will. How's everything in the Volvo world, Greg? I think we have another one of your 72 million Volvo vlog coming up this week.
Yes, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe Wednesday. Either tomorrow or Wednesday. We'll see when we get it edited. But we are going to finally tell the full story of the 240 out in Oregon and how basically the guy scammed me. So it's the full story. It's a long video. It's close to probably 30 minutes, but it's the full story from when we met the guy to present day. So it's like a 6-year-long journey that I've condensed into 30 minutes. So we'll have to see what comes out of it with what you guys think, and hopefully after that we'll have some better news on it in the vlog that will follow on it. But this is basically kind of just giving a big update as to like what's up with the build.
Awesome. And over.
Jesse, thanks for joining, and thanks for the donation already, man. Appreciate it.
Holy cow, I didn't even see that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Jesse was like a ninja donation right there. He's like,
Yeah.
wow, 500 stars.
Bam, right there. Love to see it. Night's
Thank you,
going
dude.
well.
Appreciate
This is
it.
the highlight of my Monday. Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mondays suck.
Samesies.
And Jesse apparently sold his Volvo. Over in
Yes.
Mustang land, if you guys didn't see, we finally hit the dyno, and now I can say dyno confirmed. It's on the internet. 705 wheel horsepower.
Yes.
And I'm gonna get to make a meme out of my friend. So always a win.
Not me this time.
Not great
Different
this
friend.
time. Definitely not. And then this week, we're actually headed back to the dyno to do some horsepower tricks. Really just 2 tricks combined to try to squeeze more power out of the Mustang without risking, bending rods. So that's definitely something you guys aren't going to want to miss, because we're doing science.
Science.
Yeah. So it's actually pretty interesting, and we kind of go into what goes into a little into detail about what goes into how a car turns air, fuel, spark into power. We go into some of the things like, hey, Andrew over on Facebook, what's going on, man? Long time no speak. But always.
Yes. And Andrew over on YouTube.
Yes, we have the Andrews in-house. Andrew squared.
Yes. Andrew, meet Andrew. Andrew, meet Andrew.
Now we need an Andrew on Twitch, and we will have full Andrew in session. So like we kind of go into the technical things like ignition timing. What exactly is it? What does it mean when you're doing what does 2 degrees off top dead center mean? All that, and we kind of talk why, like, if you max out your fuel with boost or compression or a combination thereof, in my case, why that leads to knock. Why, if you sure we could throw more boost at the Mustang, but the knock sensors are going to pull ignition, and we're not really going to make more power.
Right.
So all that sort of stuff. That's why most boosted cars are hovering around 9-to-1, not to 10-to-1 compression, because cylinder head pressures being as such, you can cram more boost into it. So let's just say hypothetically I was to get a built motor and we wanted to run more power through it. I'd have to run more boost to equal the power, but then I could run more on top of that. that sort of a thing. So it's actually pretty exciting.
So it's technical stuff.
It's pretty technical. We do a run on the dyno, and I will say it is the most powerful run we have ever done.
Yep, big time.
So, I mean, not that 705 is really, left me wanting, as it were. But
right.
It's pretty interesting. We kind of talk about how I can gain more horsepower without gaining boost. Actually, it would technically reduce boost. But like, it's a pretty interesting one. It's cool because that's the nerdy stuff I get into when it comes to engines and stuff like that. That's where my interest in cars lies. That's why like pretty much every single one of my builds has been power mods first, and then make sure it can handle. I mean, this one we had to make sure it could handle first from factory, just because 705 fucks. So.
Yes. 705 is very good.
Doug, welcome. Always a pleasure to see you in chat.
Yes. And Christian, so early today. Glad to have you back early on in the stream, my friend. What's up?
And I think, Christian, how'd you take my spot on the screen? I mean, we have our latest supporter and we have the stars, so one of those is the reason.
Well, I think they're talking about the one on the top left. The latest supporter actually is KC. It's not Justin, so I'm not sure why that's changed.
We're getting resubs, so thank you to Justin. And if you see your name up there and you've been subbed for a while, that's a resubscribe. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Stream Master Chad.
Yes, and then technically speaking, I'm the most recent supporter of the group.
Yes, but we're free.
Yeah, but was I free this time? But at any rate, like I was like, because I have to go back and forth on my phone between my personal feed, the Shifting Lanes feed, and my work feed. So like, yeah, I just wanted to join the cool chat again. Yes, because I felt like I was doing you guys a disservice by only checking the group once or twice a day.
Yes,
and not
now
having to just be in there.
Now I'm in there too.
Greg is in there.
So I wanted to be part of the cool. I wanted to be part of the cool kids chat as well, without having to just be the Shifting Lanes account.
Yeah. So I think got a good number of people on. So we are going to dive right into. We are going to dive right into our first topic of the day. It's the title of the stream, and that is Cummins swaps are getting out of hand. Now, Greg, outside of what the car we're going to talk about today, because you know exactly the car we're going to talk about, what is the wildest Cummins swap you've seen? Or wildest vehicle with a Cummins in it?
The wildest vehicle with a Cummins in it? I'm not sure, but I think it's hilarious. The one that I like the most is probably the one that I forget his first name, but Mr. Chastain, he come and swapped a Mustang over on YouTube. That was probably my favorite one because why? You're putting a Cummins swap in an S550 Mustang. You don't need to, but I sure as hell love that. what a hilariously sacrilegious idea to put a diesel Mopar engine in a freaking Mustang. I think that's funny and hilarious. Also awesome.
Yeah, he turned it into a burnout car, which is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, a big Cummins turbo diesel, you're basically just going to be doing nothing but torque. So, I mean, Mustang burnout car with that kind of torque kind of goes hand in hand. So I get it.
Yeah, and I mean, chat, chime in. Craziest Cummins swap for me. It's probably the still not finished, but kind of sort of running. The Barracuda, the off the ranch Barracuda. Let's see if I can find a picture of it. So like, it would help if I clicked images.
Images are a good thing. It's a good thing.
But like, open image new tab. So I don't know how many of you. I mean, but that is a first gen.
Holy mother of God!
So that's actually a late '80s, early '90s first gen Ram dually. That this is actually more body swap than actual Cummins swap, but it's being done by I forget the name of the company down in Texas, but it's like they're a muscle rod shop down in Texas. It's somewhere in the San Antonio adjacent. But
it looks like a local motors rally fighter.
pretty much.
Thing looks amazing.
So the funny thing is that with this one, Muscle Rod Muscle Rod is like to the San Antonio area what Blue Sky is to us. They are just incredible builders. They kind of specialize in doing body mods. I mean, they can do it all, but their specialty is like they'll take like a classic car wide body and you won't even notice, right? They do a lot of different stuff like 50s Chevys, old 60s Mopar, like all of it. So you're getting the care and attention of a shop that does that in something as ridiculous as this. Now, it started with a first-gen 5.9 12-valve, but the problem with the 12 valves is that to make crazy power, you have to roll coal. And with this thing, you could see the exhaust comes out pretty much right in the center of the hood, which is pretty awesome. But the offshoot is that his entire windshield gets covered in snow.
I was going to say, he's basically rolling himself.
But like everything, so pretty much the only thing you see in this picture, body-wise, that isn't modified is the roof. The rear quarter panel actually has a wide body on it, like the dually fender, so to speak, right?
Doesn't even look like it. It looks like perfect.
And that is all handmade, like hand rolled.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Like the whole nine. And then also here, they had to lengthen the front quarter panel. And then actually, because usually the sills, the slits sit somewhere around here where my mouse is. They had to move it back, but they had to like move it in. It's not as simple as just like cutting it down the middle and then adding sheet metal. They had to like puzzle piece it to make sure all the stuff looked correct and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
What's going on, Steve? This is not a Fast and Furious car. This is a car that is real, that has driven. And we're talking kind of crazy Cummins swaps. To that end, Doug in chat goes, Ford did run a Cummins in their F-Series F650s and 750s until a few years back. So not total betrayal. And he's talking about the Cummins in the Mustang. I mean, let's face it, man. I mean, he did that. He started that build when he was decent sized, but he just exploded. So like,
yeah,
if you can, doing weird crap like that actually works. But for the sake of today, this is what we are talking about, and that is a Lamborghini Gallardo, and it has a Cummins in it.
That's so crazy to me. But like look at that engine for a second. Like that is just a work of art.
Oh,
quite frankly,
and I mean,
it's in line. It's not horizontal. It's a lot of like the mid-engine layout, like swaps, sometimes end up being horizontal just because it like fits better. This thing is like, it's just really nice and it's really well done. You can see in the fab work, the metal work. It's just really beautiful. It really is.
And the thing I find most interesting about this is that so most times on Cummins or diesels in general, and also if you like the Cummins swapped S550, Off the Ranch also has a Power Stroke swapped 65 Mustang / Ranchero / GT350.
/ Ranchero, anything is just funny.
But again, it's a burnout car.
Yeah.
The thing I find interesting about this is that this is not a compound setup. You can tell because after each exhaust housing goes straight to the tailpipe. So this is a pure twin setup.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to me because most Cummins, to make decent power, you have to have some variation of a compound setup.
Sure.
So that's kind of interesting here, but um, so this is kind of what the car started out like. This is kind of their preview reel, but like it was wrecked. And that was Lutz who was on what you call it, not Fast and Loud, Street Outlaws. Bob, he's a king in the no prep world, but this,
Nice.
and we're gonna have to go mute. Or nope, we're gonna have to do the trick where Greg's audio is slightly delayed, but
Wait, hang on, I'll mute.
no, you don't have to mute. You're just audio will be this way. You can get your reaction in without
Cool.
being echoey. But this is the thing running. It doesn't immediately scream diesel, actually.
No.
I like how they parked it next to a tractor. Like, I don't know if that was on purpose, but like,
Look at the vibrations.
yeah, no. That's actually crazy good response from a diesel engine. I guess. But that thing is nuts. So let me pull up some of the information on it. So this was obviously started out life as a completely wrecked car, without like, so they didn't. It was a lot of what B is for Build does with the Lamborghinis. You know, the Burnt-A-Con and then the Jump-A-Con and stuff. It started life as a wrecked car. So no actual running, working Lamborghini Gallardos were were harmed in the making of that vehicle.
Right. Yeah, they said it was like a half shell, basically.
And they did actually manage to fit a 6-speed manual transmission. To Doug's point, like that's a lot of work to add a manual back into her. Like the article says, it's not for everyone, but like you have to respect the level of craftsmanship that went into, the bag of snakes that is this.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, anything with giant turbos and turbo blankets just in your face, I'm in.
I was thinking
I'm
about
down
putting a
with that.
supercharger blanket on my. No, I'm kidding. But
That's sick, though. That thing's really cool. I would definitely drive that.
I would love to, like. That's the thing that's like I'm at it, looking at this makes me like want to do something crazy with a Volvo engine. Like it makes me want to build a wide body, like that wide body MR2 that I've been talking about for years on end and everything.
The Gen 2 one, right?
Yeah. And just doing like, because no one expects a Volvo swap. They expect Volvo engines to be swapped out. Come and swap your Jeep, Steve. You'd be surprised at how there's a lot of stuff out there for four BT swaps. That's basically you have the 6BT, which is the 12 valve, the 24 valve, and then sort of has evolved into the 6.7 that they have now. But the 4BT is the 4-cylinder version of it, which still from factory can make 300 to 400 pound-foot of torque. So it's funny, I was actually talking to a friend of mine who plays at the golf course, and he has a first gen, what is it, an XJ is the boxy Cherokee, like our buddy Alex has, Greg?
Yeah. Yep, the boxy Cherokee from like the late 80s, early 90s.
And he was thinking about doing a, the 16 valve? I think it's a 16 valve conversion on it. But he was talking about putting that in his Cherokee. So like, Cummins or diesels are another thing I'd love to play with. I'm a car guy. I get pulled in like 92 different directions. Like I thought it would be cool to get like do a TRX body swap or something and with a Cummins, even though that thing would just want to
that
go
would be sick.
nose.
Yeah. I'm
So,
really I'm really curious as to how this. Did they say horsepower numbers on this thing or no?
let me check.
I want to say no, but I don't remember. Um, I'm looking at the article too.
Let's go
I'm
there.
really curious as to how this thing does in the quarter mile because obviously, diesels are known for torque, and I know that there's tons of drag
Mail.
diesels out there in truck world and stuff, but I don't see a horsepower number on the article. But I would love to see what this thing makes. One, on the dyno, and two, what kind of quarter mile we're talking here. Because if it's a twin turbo Cummins swap, we're not making 2,000 horsepower, but with a twin turbo Cummins swap, you can. So I'm really curious, like, what the exact power is on that thing.
Oh, there's an episode of it on Motor Trend too, if you want to get more information on it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's well. Let me put it this way: given the size of the turbos, I mean, they're probably pushing 1,000 pound-foot of torque, and probably about 60% of that in horsepower. Like, just the way Cummins work is you make an ass fuck ton of torque.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of along the lines with Chris. Steve asked Christian, "Do you approve with the Cummins swap?" I don't know. Given his love for LSs, I would say he's a Duramax guy. That was another one. There was that's another cool diesel swap, and that is the Camaro, the half mile, full mile car that what the hell is his name? He has since left Hoonigan, but he built one a Duramax in a Camaro, which was kind of cool.
That's pretty sweet. That's similar to like the Cummins swap in the Mustang.
Doug has a 7.3 turbo just sort of sitting around in a sort of rusty F550. Should go into one of my other toys at some point. I approve.
I would say let's swap it into my Polestar, but this thing already has a diesel in it, so it's fine.
Well, the way it makes power, yes.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
I still can't believe it bone stock almost dynoed at 400 wheel torque. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like that engine as it's set up at the boost you make is set up to make so much more power if it could breathe better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Because
like the one that they made from Polestar and from the factory, like the prototypes, the S60 that had like a 500 horsepower engine with this engine. It wasn't a V8. It was this engine. It had a manual transmission, but it had 500 horsepower and something like 498 in torque. So what they did is they just slapped a much bigger turbo on it, played with the internals, and made sure that it had more horsepower than torque, because the limiting factor in this platform really is the turbo, from what I've gathered recently. So bigger turbo for sure will be able to push this thing close to 500 horsepower without a question.
That also comes I saw the same thing. We went through a similar thing with my C30. When I had just the exhaust, it was more torque than horsepower. And then as I ticked off intake bits, it started to come back, because so the way it is, so all horsepower is torque over time, and time being RPM, the RPM range, right? So there's two ways to increase horsepower: increase your rev limit, which, again, if in Greg's car you would have to do the internals, just to make sure it could handle the RPM, because that already goes to what's you're like 6,500 RPM in the Polestar.
Yeah, well, it's somewhere around
there. So you would almost have to add almost close to 1,000 RPM, which as someone who has a 7,500 RPM redline, I suggest you do immediately.
I'm down.
Or to sort of even that power out, because as it was explained to me with the C30s, if we went too much more on the torque side of things, I'd start breaking stuff. So especially torque early on can kind of break some things. So if you kind of bring that down, but the horsepower up, it's a little bit safer. But in your car, I don't even know if there's a decent intake manifold option. I don't know if there's a
There is.
decent front mount with bigger piping, just so you can. So
There is.
so as it was explained to me, so if you're not increasing RPM and you want to get more power versus torque, and it's all about delivery, right? So in the Mustang, it had this thing called IMRCs. Don't ask me what the acronym stands for. I could not begin to tell you remember what it is. But
Yes, Justin. The answer is yes. There's a nice canned juice, cranberry.
yes, age to perfection. So in the Mustang, it had these IMRCs, and I've talked about this on stream before. Danger Dan, you're right. He was the one doing the Duramax Camaro. Thank you, Steve. But in the intake manual, you have the 8 intake runners, and it had a secondary throttle body, essentially. And depending on a whole mess of factors, like it didn't open in any way other than what the computer told it to. So it was independent of your main throttle body. So down low, it would kind of be somewhat closed to accelerate the air. And apparently air that's moving fast is better for torque production. And when I locked those out, when I locked them in the wide open position, down low torque suffered, but I made more power up high. And the reason I did that was because I knew boost was incoming. So, and they have a tendency to stick in positions when you apply boost in the Mustang platform. So just by getting bigger piping into your intake from the turbo, will probably increase horsepower. You might even see a torque stay the same or dip slightly, but your horsepower will go up. Basic white IPA. Yes, Greg is drinking individual proper apple juice tonight.
Yes. I think he may have been calling me basic white IPA, which also is accurate.
Yes.
It is. I am the basic B of all humans.
Christian, Duramax were cool to see. You see way less of those than Cummins. You see way less of a lot of them because Ford had an issue. I forget the years, but their Power Stroke was awful. It was in line with the Triton V8s and V10s. Like that era of Ford truck motors were pretty tragic. I don't know enough about Duramaxes, but I'm guessing V8, double the exhaust manifolds, more complexity with push rods because I think those are 32 valves, some of them. That's a lot of push rods and what have you, but I know they can make good power. It's just like everything else. Let's see here. Keith Swindle wants an SL hat. Greg, why don't you walk our viewers through where we are with the hat process? And
yes, Keith, welcome back to the stream, by the way. Thanks for joining again. So the hats, basically, if you want a hat, you can reach out to us. There is a good website I've used, not for this one. This was actually done at a local shop, fitted, so just a normal fitted hat. But there's a website out there called queensboro.com.
The glare.
They do a lot of embroidery stuff. You can basically make whatever you want. But the reason why I went with them to make a different hat for us was they had Yupong hats, which are, in my opinion, the best quality trucker hat. So I went with them. And if you are part of the Shift Squad, you get one for free. And if you are not part of Shift Squad, which is our supporter group, you definitely can purchase one, and we'll give it to you like at the cost. We're not going to make any money off of it. So just shoot us a DM anywhere you can, either on Facebook or on Instagram or Carrier Pigeon or whatever. Get in touch. I'll give you the link. You can pick your own hat, and we'll make you one. But I'll charge you only what they're charging. I'm not going to upcharge you for that. So it's sort of like on an individual basis. We don't have like a good merch line for hats yet. We're still in the process of like moving all the merch over to kind of Streamlabs from spring. So yes, get in touch and we'll hook you up with a hat. And then for those that have expressed interest on the Shift Squad, I still have yet to order them. Just had some personal stuff come up, but this week I'm going to start doing that. So I know I have Steve's order. I don't know if anyone else has actually given me an order for hats. So if you do want a hat, just reach out on the group chat or on that original post. I'll ping it tomorrow morning or get it back into the top and tag everyone in case they want it. So hats are coming, and I will be ordering them this week.
Excellent. Do they have a fitted option for people?
I want to say yes. I just haven't really looked into it because I was more focused on trucker stuff. But I do believe they have fitted options, so I'll look for that and we'll chat that part out.
Fantastic, because I look goofy as all crap in a adjustable hat. Someone I'd say,
Yeah, I want some new fitted ones too because this one and the other one I have upstairs with like the black L instead of just this white one they're disgusting. I made these like 4 years ago and they're wretched. I need some new ones.
huh, interesting. I can't see that. Yeah, and yeah, that's one of our focuses this year is to kind of up level merch, and get more offerings. So, but and especially with like the new stuff from Shifting Lanes Garage, I am working on something for our supporters and well, any members. We don't have any members over on YouTube yet, but they will be. Hopefully, we'll be getting them soon. But at any rate, working on some merch specifically for our Facebook supporters at this moment in time, specific for you guys. So stay tuned for that. The last 2-3 weeks have been just nuts for me and my day job. And the next, hopefully, 2 weeks should be it. And then I'll be back to something resembling normal.
Oh, Doug says we need stickers for Carlisle yet. I have white vinyls that are those.
I thought you were about to pass gas.
There. No. Also, yeah, you can't really zoom in on it, but they're about yay big. It says Shifting Lanes with the SL on it. But I'm bringing those to Carlisle, and I'll give them out to you guys there. And if you're not coming to Carlisle, I will send you some.
Awesome. Yeah, I honestly, I've gone through probably like 40 boxes. I have no idea where mine are. I'm guessing my last ditch effort is that they're at the shop, somewhere with my tools, or some of.
Maybe you left them in the C30.
It's just likely possible. When I mean, the guy since sold it, so I don't really remember where it is now. But
yeah, that's crazy. That changed hands real fast.
So. All right, so I posed this question over in the chat, and if you're not in the chat yet,
we're working on it.
We're working on it because there's an invite that has to come from the SL main account, and I'm not sure. Some of you it worked, some of it didn't, but I guess I'll let Greg lead this one off. Actually, I'll definitely let Greg lead this one off. I'll actually be right back. But give me a car. So we have 11 of you watching at the moment. Give me a car that you love that not a lot of people love, or people don't really understand it. I think we had someone come in a chat about an odd Lotus or something like that. But like, Greg, the floor is yours. I will make a rule for you that you only do one Volvo, and then the other one has to be a non-Volvo.
I was going to try to go non-Volvo because I'm fairly certain that everyone on stream sort of knows my affection for Volvos. But Volvos in general, I like them all for the most part. An odd car that I like that people normally don't. That's a good question. I'll give two instead of a Volvo, but my modern one was probably the new Supra, just because it got so much hate, but it's a great car. It really is, and we got a new Supra instead of them spinning the Supra name off into a crossover, which has been done many times, and as we know, the Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, whatever the hell that thing is, they basically spun off the Eclipse name into a crossover. Not fun. So a more modern one is, probably the new Supra, just because it gets so much crap. I know there's still a good following for it and people defend it and stuff, but I mean, it's not like there's a lot of BMW stuff under there. Oh no, BMW makes great sports cars. I don't really see the problem here, especially with the new manual transmission. Apparently, the people that have driven it said it's very un-BMW like because Toyota literally made a new transmission. You can't just pick up a Z4 transmission and put it in that car. They didn't do that. You couldn't do that because of like tolerances and spacing and like fitting it in there. So they really just made a new transmission from like other parts, mostly BMW stuff, but still, it's not a transmission that exists in any BMW, and they Toyotified it, which is cool. So the new Supra with that manual is even a bigger deal. So to me, that's an odd car that people don't necessarily like all that much that I really like. And it's funny, I was talking to the Shifting Lanes guys about this. I was just on vacation in Florida with my family. My boys were on spring break and we all went down there, met up with another family we know, had a really nice relaxing couple of days. And I saw more Supras in that 4-day span than I have in my entire life just driving around since the new Supra launched. It was crazy. I probably saw like 30 of them in 4 days. It was nuts. I think I've seen 30 of them total since the car launched in 2018 here in northern New Jersey, in the wild on the road. It was crazy. I don't know if it's because it's just it's because Florida has nice weather constantly, but I don't know if I hit just like a hot patch of Supra stuff or whatever, but I don't know. It was cool. It was cool to see because I saw it was a lot of them. It really was a lot of them. Let's see, an odd car that not a lot of people like, because Volvos would be a good answer for this, but not a lot of people know that Volvos are good performance cars if you do things right. Most people just think of Volvo as like just a safe car company, and that's fine. Those that know that Volvos are cool performance cars, but I don't know. It's a good question because I'm kind of stumped. I guess maybe a couple to throw out there. Lotus Evora, I don't think got nearly as much love as it should have. Toyota V6, good looks, decent reliability for a Lotus, but it was just an odd car that not a lot of people liked because that was going up against basically a Porsche Cayman or a Porsche Boxster, and I mean, 9 times out of 10 people are buying the Porsche. So, but I would choose the Lotus in that sort of matchup because it's just a more interesting car, and that's sort of like my mantra. Like, I really like interesting cars, but interesting as I think of them personally. And I guess another one that we could say is sort of the E9X platform M3. It's a popular car, sure. But most people will default to the E46 M3, which is the gen before, or the F80 M3 because they don't either like the E92 or E90 platform because it looked weird. It had the V8 in it. People think the V8 is unreliable. It's not true. If you do the rod bearings, it's a perfectly reliable engine if you don't completely beat on it constantly. But
Vanos would like a moment of your time.
Well, Vanos isn't a problem with the E90 platforms. There's almost zero Vanos.
It's BMW.
Well, yes, but the Vanos stuff with the E90 platforms is almost non-existent because it's a V8, which is weird. It's mostly the rod bearings and the throttle actuators. Those are the two big things with that platform. And the throttle actuators it's not really that big of a deal. It's just where they're placed. They're made of plastic, and the teeth could just like snap and fail, which you just replace them with another plastic one or a metal one aftermarket, and you're pretty much done. And you can do the job yourself. It's just a pain. but that's a platform that I think doesn't get nearly as much love as like the E46 or the even the F80 after it. So that's probably another odd one that doesn't really get as much notoriety as it should. What about you?
Um, I'm kind of on a small old school car kick. So like the 510 has a cult following. I wouldn't necessarily say it's an oddball just because I mean, if Paul Newman's into it, it's probably not that odd. Um,
Yeah.
but I like the I. So here's the thing. I'm kind of on this kick where like the perfect answer is some variation of Miata. It's just not the answer for me because I don't like convertibles. Whatever it is, we've had this conversation on stream before, but like it's just not it for me. So like the Datsun's one, the MGB GT, the coupe, I think would be
MGB
cool
GT is a great shout.
if you put the right engine in it and modern suspension under it. It's awesome. Like it'd be another great option for like a K swap. I even think it would be cool because British. I don't know why this mashes up in my head, but Triumph is a motorcycle company as well. So putting a motorcycle engine in it that isn't from Triumph. I know I'm deviating, but like I even think you can get really good power out of a turbocharged Hayabusa engine, like 400 horsepower, pretty reliably and drivable.
Mm.
So, Andrew, we're talking weird cars we're into, or cars that not a lot of people are into, or cars you've been into that other people don't really quite get. So I'm sure there's probably a litany of Volkswagens I've never heard of that you're about to throw at me.
In 1983, Volkswagen Scirocco.
Like another thing, like not the Scirocco that like everybody remembers, but like the Mark 5 or 6.
The newer one.
The newer Scirocco is a work of art.
Yeah, it looks awesome. Wish we would have got that thing. Probably would have bought that over my WRX, quite honestly.
Where is it? Is this it? Yeah, open in new. But like, oh, good God! Zoom out, unenhance. This is. I looked for the highest res I could find, and this is what it gave me.
Nice.
That's what I get for looking up Volkswagens. But like those were beautiful. Like just and you could get them with the GTI platform and stuff. They were just beautifully. Here we go. There it is. But like, that's a Golf.
That's sick.
That's interesting. No offense if you're into Golfs, but like that is a very good looking vehicle. It's a shame we didn't get it, but as we notice here in America, like hatchbacks don't last long unless you're Volkswagen. And having two in the same platform, like to justify bringing the Scirocco over would have to be a stupid price tag. And I don't know, if we're going to pay that here in America, and when I say we, I mean the idiots that actually are buying cars en masse,
Yeah.
they're going to go for a crossover.
Sure.
Justin, and then Justin actually replied, let me get the actual thing. Justin goes for the Lotus Europa. A very odd car, but for some reason holds a place in my heart. It may have something to do with Gran Turismo 2, but it's interested me since the days of yesteryear. A time forgotten. And let's see if I can pull the... Yeah, that's odd. I will definitely give you that.
Yeah, the Europa it looks like almost like a flatbed truck a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, hey, let's make a mid-engine car a shooting brake. But hey, it's interesting. Like it is not boring. That in this.
That's right.
And like,
oh, that one's like kitted out too. That's that's a good one. You should look at the regular ones. They look far crazier and weirder than that.
Yes, but here we go.
There you go. It looks as if an El Camino and a 911 had a baby.
Pretty much. We were talking about a Mustang Ranchero. Question: what is going on right here, right there? It's just me, or it might be the picture. I don't know enough about these things, but is it just me, or does that look concave?
I mean, I think it looks pretty concave.
So, but it's like this is why kind of why I asked the question. Well, it might
Yeah.
not be my particular cup of tea. Someone out there really likes this car, and I think that's awesome. And I think like if we all like the same stuff, nothing would be interesting, right? If like let's just say hypothetically speaking, Volvos were like the Germans, you probably wouldn't be as into them as you are.
Right.
So,
Right.
like,
I thought of another one. You know, a car that I like. I wouldn't. I'm not sure I would buy it, but I just find interesting, and that I like that no one really kind of likes and has sort of a cult following is the Porsche 914. Just because it had a V8. It's weird like the
the
Europa, but you can
914,
swap it. There's like
914 out of V8.
yeah, I think the 914 had a V8 offering. I'm not sure if it was just the main engine, but I thought you could get a V8 with it.
I know the
Let me look it up.
base motor was a um yeah, most of these are conversions. But in any rate, I remember back
Yeah.
in high school, we had a buddy who was actually working on one. This is back before we knew dick about cars. So it never really went anywhere, but like taking it apart was fun.
Yeah. So no, I'm wrong. These didn't come with a V8. I thought they did. But you can have a V8 swap in these. But like, if you Google Porsche 914 V8 and you just look at the first image, it's a black car with like the Fuchs style wheel. Like that looks sick. That looks so good to me.
And that's the
Yeah,
resolution.
that's the exact one. That looks amazing. And like it's the same thing with the third image in that image search is rear three quarters. Yeah, like tell me that doesn't look fantastic because it does.
Right.
Like that looks properly good.
Oh yeah. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who do Subi swaps with these, like the flat four
Hmm.
Subaru engines. I
Yep.
mean,
You know what? That would be a great car for a five-cylinder Volvo swap.
it very well could be if it's wide enough for a transverse Volvo engine.
I mean, it looks pretty
They're
wide.
tiny.
I know they're tiny, but I think they're tiny wide.
But
That's a cool
I mean,
car.
yeah, I mean, absolutely. Doug goes with his go-to choice, the AMC Eagle, the birth of the crossover. I will never forgive you for that. Um,
Hmm.
Doug goes again. The car he really wants is any of the surviving Pullmans. I googled them. I found old cars that looked like Model Ts and train cars. Um, apparently they were made in York, PA, and there's about 28 that survived. One of his friends has several of them, cornering the market. I see. Steve, the Lincoln Zephyr, yes, those had I think a V16 in them, and the Police Interceptor Tahoes, yeah, those look mean as hell. Uh, Andrew goes with the Delta Integrale. I mean, yes, uh, the old Deltas were nuts. Um, Basically, the GR Corolla of their day. Uh, and he goes, if you want a VW, the VR6 Corrado. Absolutely. So here's the fun thing about the Corrado is completely made up, but the marketing department said VW wanted something that sounded Italian. Enter the Corrado. Um, and the VR6 engine one of is an engineering feat just because it's a narrow angle V with one head, and it fits in the space that a four cylinder would sit in. So that's how they got it in there. Because originally they had some sort of ugh, supercharged four cylinder that was awful, and then the VR6 really took it to the next step. The VR6 is, and for my money, the most legendary engine that a Volkswagen car came with. Thank you for the 100 stars, Doug. Uh,
Thank you, Doug.
Pullman literally stole the Pullman name from train cars to make folks think they rode nice. Back before tradesman law was a big deal. Stars for attention to my quirky history. Love the quirky history. Don't ever stop.
Yes, the quirky history is awesome. And welcome back, Nicholas. I'm glad you're sipping from the cup with my face on it. Oh, man.
Love it.
Still the best. Still the best.
Like a VR. And here's another fun fact that I think Andrew knows, and probably Doug, because the guy like trips and falls and drops like automotive knowledge out of his pockets. Is that they actually made a VR5 as well. I don't remember what cars it came in, but I know there's a VR5 that exists. So it's technically a V5. So that is a thing that was actually made. But I agree. What is it? The Lancia Delta Integrale Evo 2. I think it's the 16 valve. The last generation Delta is just insane. There you go. Odd and interesting. I think the curve was designed for headroom going back to the Europa. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, you looked at what is it? The GT40 that Dan Gurney specifically drove has the bump in the middle because he was so tall. Triumph Stag was always seemed like one that sounded better than it is. And I could also get into their weirdness. Yeah, Stag's another car. Also, for odd-looking cars, check out the 1959 Buick LeSabre. Is that the one with the center? Is that the one with the center headlight?
Oh, maybe.
LeSabre.
I'm
looking. No. Okay, yeah, I definitely am picking up what you're putting down here. Open. I mean, the color on this one is particularly terrible. I could see us getting this for Greg, but
where is it? Let me see it. Ooh! I'll be honest. I would definitely drive that. That is honestly sick.
But those cars from that era definitely have that look about them.
Yeah, it has that flair. It just has something. There's just something about
it. Christian has an off love for the Lexus LFA. I mean, who does? I mean, the LFA is amazing. I mean, a dumbed down version of that is what should have been the Supra. You're six. Christian, I think I'm buying a VW with a VR. I'm sorry, a VW with a VR6. Nice, dude. It's crazy because they're a V6 technically, but they sound like a straight six. Like they sound incredible. The G60 was the engine I was thinking of out of the Corrado, that 4-cylinder that was trash. Nicholas finally got his shirt, by the way. Awesome. If anybody else is having shipping issues, let me know. I can ping. Andrew, the Doug of Volkswagen, I should say. The 2.5 liter VR5 came in Jettas and Golf in the Mark 6 generation. Huh. Interesting. I'd be curious to see what they sound like.
Yeah.
Justin goes, the center headlight was the Tucker. Doug concurs. 1948 to be exact. What Doug said. Damn, check out them headlights. Yeah. The fins. Yeah, like the fins of those era, like, I mean, they just don't design vehicles like this anymore. Like, they just...
Nah, they really don't.
Mark, what's going on? Welcome back.
What's up, dude?
Oddball cars. Let me see if there's anything I'm forgetting.
Yes, yeah, oddball cars that you find interesting that most other people wouldn't is the topic. I'm actually, right now, that's why I've been so quiet. I'm scrolling Bring a Trailer because they just have cars for days. I'm trying to find oddball cars because usually they have like one or two quirky things on here. I'll also say like a bunch of key cars or K cars from Japan. Specifically, some of the little trucks that they have, like the I don't know how to pronounce it. The Honda ACTY, ACTY, like those little the key trucks are really cool. Or K trucks are really cool. The K cars too, like the AutoZam AZ1. They're just tiny and quirky and fun. I think they're just neat. I don't think I'd ever own one, but I really love them. And when I see them at a meet, I always just geek out about them because they're just cool. And you also never see them here. I mean, obviously, like all the Volvos, 855R is probably the one I would geek out about the most right now. I have a serious lust for an 850 Wagon R right now. Like if I could swing it, I would buy one right now. What I would do is I would find one in Sweden and I would ship it over because they didn't come here in manuals, from what I understand. And the ones that are manuals in the U.S. are either imported or swapped.
And Sweden drives
so what
on
I'd
the
love
side
to
of the
do
road
is
too, so you don't have to worry about that.
That's correct. Which is why everyone's like, "Oh, you should import one JDM," and I'm just like, "No, I don't want to drive a right-handed drive car ever, like literally ever." That's why I don't want to. That's why I don't want a JDM GTR. That's why I don't want anything
what do you
JDM.
mean? That means your wife could do all the
drive. I don't even want to.
Your wife could do all the
Don't even
ordering
want to.
at drive-thrus.
At the drive-thru, yeah, it's true.
Or
but yeah,
or,
like I would love to do that.
Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
Get an 850 over here. Ditch the entire driveline. V70R driveline.
Ooh, okay. I mean, you could. So here's the thing. Yes, I would love to do that.
Don't give me this money nonsense. I'm just putting the idea in your head so, like, in 3 years, you actually do it.
I would love to do that. But, see, they already did that. They made the V70R in the P80 generation, which is basically what you're talking about.
Were those all-wheel drive?
There I believe a few. I think they're all all-wheel drive, actually.
Huh.
I don't remember.
All right.
It's been so long to actually look it up. Doug can tell me, or Mark can tell me. Are the P80 generation V70Rs all-wheel drive? I thought they were. And the 850s were the last ones with the front-wheel drive only. I don't remember.
Mark goes, nah, use an 05 T5 block so it doesn't pull an R crack, and then, of course, all-wheel drive and manual. And it says yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay,
so I think, you get a P80 V70R.
Then we need to get you one of those, and then just put BTCC livery on it.
Yeah. The only problem with the P80 V70Rs is that none of those were manual. All of them were automatics. The only ones you see that are manuals are all swapped. And there is one that I've been trying to pry away from a buddy of mine from Carlisle. He should have it there. You'll be able to see it. It's a P80 V70R. It's that saffron orange color, that like burnt orange, that like amazing color that Volvo did back then. And he's manual swapped it. I want to say it's an M66 or it's M6, but he's manual swapped it and he's lowered it. He's done a ton of work to it. It's just gorgeous. I really wish I could like pry that away from him. Because it's so nice. And like I would either do an 855R or a P80 V70R at this point. Either one of those I would be so happy with. 855 preferred, just because it's older, it's boxier. I think it's a little cooler. But I think the P80 V70Rs are next. I think they're going to have their day next, sort of, because they're sort of the forgotten generation. Because the 855s are always like so iconic with the British touring car stuff, and then the P2 V70Rs are just they were always known as like the real performance R. But the P80s, there wasn't a long run of them. It was only like 2 or 3 years. So,
well, I mean, you need one. You need one of each.
Yes.
And then I think the 750 would be the only wagon you have, except for the new ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Complete the collection.
That's right.
Mark goes in chat. A huge current issue is that if your P80R needs a drive shaft, you can go fuck yourself. They don't exist.
Yeah, you'd have to get one basically made for
That's
you.
not crazy. I mean, shit. What?
No, but like, but if your drive shaft goes and you have to get one made, it's a real tough sell to spend $2,000 to $3,000 on a drive shaft for a Volvo that's worth not that much. You know?
Hold that thought. Nope, wrong folder. Two to. Hold on. What did I? Oh yeah, yeah. I only spent $13.20 on my drive shaft. Thought it was more than that. Never mind.
Yeah. My guess is it would be double that. Just because that like Mark said, like they don't exist right now.
Oh, alrighty. Where are we in chat? I'm behind. This is always a good thing. Keep talking, fellas.
Yes.
Justin goes, speaking of Carlisle, I'm making good progress on the GN. Yeah, I've seen a lot of your your posts in Shift Squad. It's awesome, dude. Keep grinding.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that thing.
Yeah, the bolts haven't moved in 36 years, and it shows the joys of old car ownership.
That's why they make PB Blaster.
Yeah, but sometimes PB Blaster just makes it easier to, let's just say, turn your bolt into a stud.
True.
Doug goes, some P2 drive shafts are pretty rare. My friend has an 05R. It's got to come from like an 05 or 06, I think. He was waiting for me to part out my wagon. Another interesting one Andrew goes with is a 2001 Celicas. I actually dug the hell out of those Celicas back in the day, and then I immediately fell out of love with them. I don't know.
Yeah, they were cool for like a hot second because they had the marketing for that was it was a design based on IndyCar when Toyota like broke into IndyCar. It was like like a big thing. And they were cool when they came out, and then they didn't do anything for them. Plus, they were front wheel drive, so it wasn't really like
they tried.
They were front wheel drive only. They never had like the all wheel drive like the 4 headlight version did. Wasn't like really great.
Yeah, we also didn't get the all wheel drive version all that much over here. At any rate, but I just remember watching the old celebrity races in them. That like Steve says, the only one we're going is the GT4, the rally car. Agree. Doug or Andrew goes, Vinny Labu, SP, in high school had one.
I don't remember.
This is where being
Vinny Labue, Labue, maybe? I don't know.
Oh yeah, it might be. Yeah, I mean, they had a good. I mean, like most Toyotas from that era, they had a great engine. It was just wrong wheel drive, I guess. Doug did turn a bolt into a stud. My condolences. Mark goes, if I'm not mistaken, there's a guy on YouTube building the hell out of an 854. He has purchased what is believed to be the last new drive shaft for an all-wheel drive P80.
What a jerk.
That's nuts to me.
I know.
That no one is...
It's also nuts that they still have them.
It's not even that. It's that, like, someone somewhere has to have, like, the numbers for it to make. And if they could, like you said, $2,000 to $3,000 on a Volvo that's worth XYZ, right? If you could figure out a way how to sell X number of them to turn a reasonably priced, that's just a niche market, But
this is a larger conversation. It's part of why I really would love to see more manufacturers get into like the old school sort of like
Nissan's doing.
Yeah, but not to that extent though. Not like refurbishing stuff. Because if I were to buy a Volvo 855R per se and send it to Volvo and be like, hey, refurbish this car. I mean, it's Volvo. You know they're going to spend like $250,000 on it. I'm talking like, I wish they would just make some new parts from the stampings that they have or the plans that they have, because you see companies making a killing on this market, like FCP Euro. And I'm not trying to take away from FCP Euro at all. They're a wonderful company, and I hope they keep growing because they're awesome. And they're doing a huge service to the enthusiast community, especially the aging enthusiast community. But like, wouldn't it behoove a lot of these OEMs to start making some old parts again? Because they could essentially probably make a shit ton of money off of this. Like, even if it's just like stupid little parts, like you don't have to
Yes
make
and no.
P80 drive shafts and mass, right? Like you could just say, oh well, here's a bunch of common failure points for a lot of these cars. We have the technology. Here's your parts. Like they just do that.
The thing is that they really, because of how specialized automotive manufacturing has become, they don't. They would have to build like a new factory to make the heritage parts or something like that. Because you see it all the time when an old model goes out of production, all of the tooling is retooled. So like even
Yeah.
like I mean honestly, I would wish that, let's just put it this way, if we just sat down and made a list of cars that just have people struggle to find parts on, and the specific parts that are difficult to find, and let's say had the wherewithal to make them at a price that isn't, earth shattering, but still, it's a business after all. Like I think you're gonna start to see people doing that. Like just because there's not a market to do one off, but there is a market to do multiples, and
Sure.
let's see here. Oh God, I'm behind chat again. Doug says liability kills innovation. Yeah, people are hesitant to make stuff because of the liability, which sucks. Kill all the lawyers, as I believe the Eagles once said. Not Eagles? It's going to bug the shit out of me. I'm going to continue
The
reading.
Philadelphia Eagles said kill all the lawyers. Oh my god.
Hotel California. That was the Eagles, right?
Hotel California is the Eagles, yeah.
Yes. One of their songs, there's a line in it that says kill all the lawyers.
That's a very Eagles line. That's a very Don Henley line.
Mark does raise up a good point. There's not a lot of people out there really bent on fixing a P80. Viscous coupled all-wheel drive, it's just not a very fruitful endeavor. I'd rather figure out making a Haldex 4 Plus work on a P80. I mean, that's what Greg is here for. He's going to do all the R&D for you soon.
No thanks. Hard pass.
Next step for Justin's Grand National is the rear upper control arms. Tried turning one of the bolts, and I'm pretty sure I heard the bolt laugh at me while it just spun. So it's spending time out in the PB blaster. There you go.
Like it.
Steve asks, would you get A at Tacoma, B a Frontier if the prices are equal? Tacoma.
Tacoma. And it's not even a question. Tacoma will hold value 1,000 times better.
It's just
and the aftermarket on it is 1,000 times more viable.
And not for nothing, the reason the appeal of a Frontier of similar era is it's usually like 75 cents on the dollar compared to the tacos. But there's a reason why the tacos are priced that way. This reminds me of the guy who sat down and figured out reproducing the taillight lenses for Fiero fastbacks. GM tried to sue him because they still said Pontiac despite Pontiac being long gone and no replacements were being made. He beat them and got the go-ahead to continue making them as licensed GM parts. Well, there you go.
There you go.
Another oddball from Andrew. The 80s Jeep Wagoneer. I don't know why. I think they're cool. I think they have for me at least, they have an ugly cool about them. Like, they're not particularly good looking in my opinion. I mean, I know some people love them.
Yeah.
But they're just kind of cool vehicles. They're kind of that first big-ass SUV that we all now see and everything. But and like, the woody kind of look and stuff is kind of like they have this aesthetic to them that is not good looking but somehow beautiful. Like they're ugly, but their ugliness makes them beautiful. I definitely see that one.
Yeah, I would say for me another one is just most wagons. Wagons are not a big. A lot of people just don't like wagons. I love them. I think they're cool. I think they're better looking a lot of the time than their sedan counterparts. There's a couple of sedans that are better looking than the wagons for sure, but like I don't know, I just like wagons in general, not just for the family aspect of it, but like this, I think is fantastically better looking than the S60 of
Correct.
this generation. The S60 is fine, but to me, it always had that sort of air of a cat getting scratched just above his butthole when it does that like little arch back thing. Like it just didn't. It didn't work for me from like the C pillar back. But this, however, does because I think it looks much more like elongated, shooting breakish, and just has a better rake to it. It's just this is better than the sedan.
Oh, 100%. I would go as far as to say, apart from the Amazon Coupe, every Volvo looks better as a wagon.
I mean that's probably an opinion that a lot of people have. I know that a lot of people have very strong opinions in the Volvo community, saying, especially in the 240s, that the coupe looks better than the wagon. Um, but I would venture I would be in that camp with you. I think Volvo as a company as a whole, maybe same up there with Audi, probably are the two companies that do wagons better than anybody and do wagon design better than anybody. Almost every wagon both of those companies make looks better than the sedan or coupe counterpart.
Oh, I agree. But then, like in some cases, I'm trying to think. Like since knowing you and your love for wagons, I've kind of developed an appreciation myself. But like,
Yes, it's spreading.
I'm just trying to think of like, so like the SS or Holden Commodore, I think look really
Mhm.
good as a wagon, but is it better than the sedan?
That's one I would say the sedan actually does look better. The whole wagon's cool, but the proportions just aren't quite there for me. I think the sedan looks better. Um, Saabs actually are another one. Like I think some of the Saab wagons are cool, but I think the sedans also still look better there. Um,
Well, the best looking Saab wagon is
especially
a
when
Subaru.
especially when Saabs went full GM.
Yeah, I mean,
I think the sedans look better than the wagons, especially in the GM era for sure.
yeah. Hold on. Keep discussing things. I'm trying to find something for YouTube and, or no, I'm sorry, not for YouTube. What can I find?
CTSV is another one that I thought looked better as a sedan than a wagon. Wagon's cool,
See,
huge, big V8 wagon. I think is cool, but I think the sedan looks better. I think the coupe in that generation, like the 2012s, just looks weird. I just don't like the coupes in that generation, but I think the sedan looks better than the wagon there. And the wagon, as a wagon aficionado, everyone loves the wagon, and I respect the hell out of it because it's a huge V8 manual wagon that you could get to like 1,000 horsepower pretty easily, relatively. But like I don't know, the sedan just looks better to me.
oh, that's where this build lived. So I would sit here and say that the second gen CTSV, the coupe and sedan had like suffered from that too tall quarter panel syndrome, like too much quarter panel.
Yes,
Where
yeah,
the
the belt
wagon,
line was like at your neck.
yeah, where the wagon. Um,
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
Come on, it's got to be here somewhere. Aha, here we go.
I'm trying to find other cars like that.
So Andrew had an interesting point in chat. See if I can find it. He goes Nissan Stagia. Now, I don't know. Did you watch the MC Mighty Carmod's build with the Stagia? If not, check it out.
No, but I know it's basically a GTR wagon.
Oh, this one is a V8 GTR wagon. So like,
Nice.
still all-wheel drive. I put the link down there, Andrew. If you're a fan of the Stagia, 100% got to check that out. But yeah, they are
Yes.
basically if you took an R33 GTR, replace the RB26 with an RB25 Neo, which are still very strong engines in their own right. God, I love that era. It's like, we have this 2.6, but here's a 2.5 and a 2.0. And just because we like Australia, here's a 3-liter, but with only one cam. Like,
because why not?
Because, fun fact, if you want the big block RB, what a lot of guys do is they put the RB26 head on an RB30, port polish the head, and now you have 3 liters. And so 2 JZ guys can suck it. Doug goes, wagons generally come in just behind convertibles for value in older collectible cars. I would tend to agree if they're sort of the... I don't know. Oddball's not the right choice, but like... So like...
Keep going and be entertaining. I'll be right back.
So like, for example, like a Hemi Cuda. If you get a numbers matching Hemi Cuda, the coupe, I know there's not a wagon variant of it, right? So I guess if they made a wagon, it probably comes in... Well, nobody wants 4 doors unless it's a wagon. I guess is kind of the point I'm trying to make here. Roundabout in not a very good way. Anywho, moving on. Justin goes, 1994 Buick Roadmaster, best wagon. Yeah, I mean Chevy small block up front, hard to beat it. Basically a police interceptor Caprice with a long top, not a bad option. Nate over on Facebook goes, had a 1984 AMC Eagle with the 4.0, my wagon Jeep hybrid. That sounds interesting as all hell. The Volvo 18, Doug, a Volvo 1800 sort of does look better than the 1800 ES, though he likes both. Steve agrees. The CTSV wagon was great. And some... Andrew, you've seen it. Awesome. Yeah, that's one of the coolest builds. They also did a VK56 Haku build over on the Skid Factory. That was a cool one because that's a pretty potent, high-revving NA motor with ITBs, which I'm kind of a sucker for, which is exactly why I didn't do it on my car. So Justin goes, since we're talking about wagons and I'm kind of on a Buick kick, check out the 2018 Briegel Tour X wagon. I think I know what you're talking about. I remember seeing a decent-looking Buick out there that I was like, could do with all-wheel drive and a big, powerful motor. I love how they name these things. Like, why not call it a Regal wagon? Because Tour X sounds better. Let's see here. Car and driver. Yeah, I do kind of... here, let's show it. Solo? There we go. So I do kind of dig it. View gallery. I dig it. I am not in it. Like, I see if you body match or paint match the fenders. That's tiny. I apologize. Not the first time I've had to set it there. I said it before any of you jackasses could say it for me. And car and drivers breaking my internet. Always kind of dug those. It's a shame that like there's no. That would be possibly the next topic, guys. But at any rate, we're on the good one here. Steve goes, Mickey from Throttle owns a Nissan Stagea sitting in Japan waiting for the year to be shipped. Andrew goes, unpopular opinion. The 2J is overrated. How do I put this? For what it can do, it isn't. So there are very, very few engines you could add. You could more than double the horsepower without touching the bottom end. But on the flip side, they tend to be a boat anchor because of the iron block. There's pros and cons to it. I appreciate the 2J just because of just how stupid over-engineered it is and how stupid over-engineered a lot of the Japanese engines from that era. The RB being another one. The 3S and 4S from Toyota were basically little miniature 2Js in 4-cylinder form. I love the fact that you could build the living hell out of it without tearing it down. It's pretty cool. I mean, but on the flip side, an LS weighs less and you can make more money. There are two our LS enthusiasts out of there. I actually always wanted to kind of LS swap a Mark IV, but they're so stupid in value, even the NA ones, where it's like, ugh. But on the flip side, to your point, if I was to, my IS 300, if I was to do a motor swap in it, I would do a 4UZ, have it built, have the heads ported, and get about 500-600 horsepower out of it before I would go with another 2J. Those are handsome cars, but Andrew goes, the Buick looks like a VW Passat wagon. Now I can't unsee it. Buick used to mean couch on wheels. Yep. Then again, so did Lincoln. So did Cadillac. Really, the only thing keeping Buick afloat is China right now. They're huge in China for some insane reason. Volvo.
Automotive's being in China.
Right. Same could be said for quite literally any import over there.
Yeah, also true.
Yeah, you know. But hey, that Buick is so hot right now. Volvo Red Block. Mark asks. I forget the context. You might have to remind me. White Block. LOL. Just kidding. Where'd that come from? Going over to.
Well, that's on YouTube.
Oh, hey, Andrew Campbell over on YouTube. Thank you so much. We have our first ever member over on YouTube. Thank you, Andrew.
Woohoo!
If you are... I don't know how to do this. Did not expect one this quick. So what I might end up doing, guys, is we might end up... I suggest everyone watching this who is either a subscriber or a member is to not... I don't have any links yet, but I will have a... I'm going to create a Discord channel for everyone that we can have sort of a chat in. This way YouTube can come together with Facebook and the worlds unite.
Yeah, like there's a private chat for the Facebook group, but like that's exclusive to Facebook. That's all well and good, but like yeah, Discord might be a better way to sort of go about this, just because everyone can kind of conglomerate in one place.
Yeah, and it'll again, Andrew, thank you so much. You are so quick at becoming a member. I didn't even have a chance to make a super alert about it. So
yes, thank you, dude.
Save that, and next week I will have a super alert for you. Just
awesome.
Just to make that that's really awesome, guys. In the Facebook side of things, let's show Andrew some love. He is one of you now. He just wears a different colored shirt. That's all.
Yes, his is red. His is red and white as our customary YouTube colors. Yours are blue and white, or customary Facebook colors.
Doug's super alert. I think what would be awesome is if like we could do at some point. What Doug says one of us.
Oh, it's a great reference. One of us.
And another thing that I thought would be super cool is if we could get similar numbers to YouTube members to Facebook supporters, is to have like a YouTube versus Facebook like drag racing or car show or something like that.
Yes. Justin, thank you for the 100 stars. To make sure Chad doesn't forget the super alert next week.
I mean, I could.
What an idiot!
I could literally do that right now, and it wouldn't take very long. But I won't bore you guys with how that particular sausage is made. Just real quick, just because I haven't seen it pop. I've been looking at the wrong chat screen. We have Lesser Logic over on YouTube. He says he's still driving an 06 T5 2.4 liter, 6-speed. Had her a decade now. Daily driver. Hi guys, what's up, man? Sorry I'm a little late. Lesser also likes the
Yes.
sound of a Hemi. Who doesn't? White block. Oh, just kidding. Although I do like mine. I see. Anthony can't deny Team Red. There we go. He's still here with us. Thank you,
Also,
Lesser.
yeah, Lesser Logic. I've definitely responded to a million of your comments on all our YouTube videos. So thank you so much for watching over the years. I know you've been sort of an OG supporter for watching the videos on YouTube. So thank you so much, and appreciate you joining the live stream. We're here every Monday, except for last week. Every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So join every Monday. We're here to chat.
Yes. We are here every Monday as long as the as long as the real world doesn't get in long.
Yes, that.
Doug says shot race.
Oh man, in my Penn State days, if we're talking about drinking, I could definitely basically destroy everybody in a shot race. But now I will have two and be asleep.
Yeah.
So no.
You want to know the really annoying thing about getting older is that like if I drink to the point where even I feel a good buzz, my entire body hurts the next day. So like
no man.
But I don't drink that as much as I used to, and my tolerance has stayed the damn same. Like it's annoying as fuck. Like, oh my gosh.
We're an hour and a half in. You can say fuck, fuckity, fuck.
Of course. I mean, you don't want to loosen those reins because, as you well aware, Greg, I have the mouth of a trucker.
We live in New Jersey. The F word is a comma here. So, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Fucking right.
There you go.
And
boy.
If we're talking about drinking,
of course we're talking about drinking. Good man.
Drinking apple juice. Don't demonetize this, Zuckerberg.
No, I think talking about it is fine because you're not actively doing it, which is why I have a red Solo cup.
Nate goes, well, first of all, Justin's bringing the beer and whiskey to Carlisle. Yeehaw. Can Facebook get the Greg shirts and the YouTube crowd has the chat upon theirs? I mean, not a horrible,
that's good.
idea. We're running. I gotta get cracking on the Chad shirts because I think the Greg shirts are.
That's expiring this week.
I think.
What was West Side Story? Sharks versus what?
I want to say Jets, but
Yes, no, that's exactly what it is. So yeah, it's like YouTube versus Facebook. It's Sharks versus Jets with you're in my face.
We pitted our chats against each other. Welcome to Shifting Lanes Hunger Games.
Doug confirmed it's Jets.
The funny thing is I see him.
I love that.
I just saw Jet because for whatever weird reason, my stream chat on Streamlabs first duplicates Facebook. So like I just see Jets, and I'm just thinking of Fireman Ed.
Jets, Jets. That's exactly where my mind went too.
Let's see here. Let's go to the store. Let's see how much time is left on the limited edition collectible Gregson shirts.
Oh God! All of you should return them.
They've expired.
Oh no! You can't get my glorious douche face on any more merchandise.
Yeah. Well, they'll make a comeback for the holiday season, so you get the important gal or guy in your life, the official Gregson banana hammock.
Oh man, Borat banana hammock over the shoulder. Let's go.
Basically, it's the best kind of procreation, or contraceptive. There we go.
Nate, thank you for the 500 stars, brother. As always, much appreciated.
Justin, we're just sitting over here waiting for the Chad line to drop in stores.
Oh, man.
Nate, thank you so much for the stars. I didn't see a message attached to it, but thank you so much.
I did. I saw it on my screen.
Huh. Thanks, Streamlabs. Please don't shut me down. Where's my chat? Where is it?
Oh, Steve got the mug. Yo, if you're in Shift Squad, you need to immediately post a selfie of you with your me merch. I have to see all of this. I think Doug posted one because he got it like first for some
Mm-hmm.
reason. His was like he got it within a couple days. So you guys all have to post images of your you have to selfie with your Greg merch, and we'll share it on stream next week.
Yes, and then I will figure out something to.
And then and then that'll be the Chad drop, isn't it? After we
Yeah,
get all the selfies.
we'll get the selfies, and then as long as I get at least 7 selfies, the winner will get their choice of Chad. They will get the first
Yes.
limited edition Chad line.
Yeah. Oh, and full transparency, I will be buying a Chad shirt, 100%. There will, and I will wear it on stream, 100% happening.
Just be known, Greg. I may or may not have gotten a 9x10 Greg flag. I haven't.
Oh my god!
But I think it would be hilarious to
Carlisle.
have just a big ass, like over the top Greg flag. If I could find someone to make it that isn't stupid expensive.
Just park your Mustang in Carlisle and drape that over the windshield and close it in your car doors so it doesn't blow away. Everyone will be so confused, but we'll know. Yeah, that's all that matters.
If you know, you know. Steve's last hangover lasted 3 days. His Irish ancestors are ashamed of him. Yep. I'm Irish. I'm sort of ashamed. But then he redeems himself by saying
also
the New
Irish.
Jersey state bird is the middle finger. It is. Most people in their life never get shirts with their faces on them. True facts. I might. We might have a Doug shirt coming. I don't know.
It'll just go around. First we do the hosts, then we'll do all the supporters.
Andrew, that's a great topic. Biggest stupid mistakes you've made while wrenching. For me, probably plumbing the TCV valve on the C30 backwards. That was an oopsie. Justin's going to pose with the GN. Guys, get as creative as you want because I want to.
Yes, please lay across your hoods.
Just know if they're like, I want them fantastic. Like, I want to basically make this in that's yes. We're gonna have pictures of you guys, and I'm turning it into a calendar.
Oh no! But oh yes, yes.
Steve's waiting for the right moment. I'll wear it to work tomorrow.
Every moment is the right moment.
Not for nothing. If you work in a Volvo dealership, wearing a shirt with Greg's face on it might increase sales. And I'm not even trying to be funny about that.
No, hugely no. If you were still selling the V70R, maybe.
You're bigger than you give yourself credit for, Greg. I mean, in the Volvo space, not in the downtown action zones kind of way. Steve just had a great idea for a mug. I'm not sure Facebook would approve. Moving on. Justin, my face might break the printing press. Worth a shot.
Dude, if mine didn't, yours won't. Trust me.
Yeah. Doug, I still have the convertible mustache picture. That's the bar to beat, in my opinion. I do not disagree with that. Andrew, piggybacking on it, on his biggest wrenching mistake, massive oil leak, needed to be towed because I over-torqued the oil filter and tore the O-ring on the GTI. Yikes. But to work on cars is to have an experience like that. Like there was the time where Greg just decided that all of the lug nuts on his WRX wanted to come off. Not his fault. Subaru. Good job.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't decide that. Subaru's really poor craftsmanship did.
Doug, the average Volvo customer has no idea that Volvo performance exists.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sad. Moving on.
Sad times.
Damn it. I gotta find you know what I was just thinking? If it could be done, get Court and Lou to make you a flag and then burn the silhouette of you in where the field of blue usually is. It's and the stripes.
Wait. Oh, like a.
Or just a burnt wood flag with Greg on it. Like,
It's just a burnt wood me. It doesn't even need to be a flag. It's just a pallet burnt wood me.
anybody know any sculptors? No reason whatsoever other than the.
No, no, please no.
I mean, not for nothing. Those pictures are perfect for like some sort of craft beer. Just saying.
Hey, I mean, the douche IPA.
Edit. Preview. Andrew, over on Facebook. In case you were wondering, I turned Greg into a meme. So
Yes.
that was the limited time merch we're doing. I gotta get cracking on that. I might even. I'm thinking about adding text, like, and then I don't know. Maybe we have. It'd be funny. I don't know. So many ideas bouncing around my head.
I love it.
Steve, I stripped the lugs after installing R1 Concept brakes on my old Subi. Yeah, that stuff. If you're not,
Yeah.
like, that stuff just happens, man. Like, okay, granted, I could have not been a dumbass and plumbed the TCV the correct. I could have done it the correct way. I don't know how I messed that up, but I did. Fortunately, it didn't break anything, and then, frankly, it's no longer my problem. And I'm pretty confident the owner now. There's no idea this stream exists.
Right.
You know, but like, trying to think of another one. On the C30.
Yeah, I don't know. I would probably say the strip Torx bolt, trying to get over the engine pipe off for the V70R, just because it wasn't even my fault really. The bolt was just stripped. It was just a royal pain to get to because I had to take a Dremel and cut a crosshatch or just a single line, and then just take a big screwdriver and put a breaker bar on top of it, and then sort of wrench it open that way. It was that sucked, but other than that, it's actually been just normal wrenching.
Well, I mean, guys, you saw Greg's
crazy.
attention to detail when he was putting the winter wheels on. So he does things right the first time.
Hey, look! I have since not used that breaker bar that you saw the massive flex in, and I actually used my impact wrench finally. And I did these in 20 minutes this time. And I'm like, all right, impact wrench it is from now
on. Doug, I always do overdo repairs. I once went to replace the flex plate on a car and ended up thinking I should do a full restoration. Ended up just parting out the whole car and making money selling the parts. Ain't that always the case? Steve goes, on the shirt front, if you add text tag, make it cursive and have it say Le Douche, I'm offended. Nate over on Facebook once accidentally drained his automatic transmission, think it was the oil drain, and then proceeded to overfill my engine. Caught it immediately as it sounded like a Briggs & Stratton. Yikes. That reminds me, my what was it? The Corvair were the air-cooled Chevys that were kind of sort of based on Porsche. Gas station attendant, my mom's car was overheating. And the guy had no idea it was an air-cooled car and added water to it. Well, there's no water reservoir on an air-cooled engine. So what he was actually doing was adding water to the motor oil. You dicked how that went. This was brutal. Before my time. But there was also a time when I was working on the golf course and I was in a cart and I had the Buffalo blower. If you're unfamiliar, that's like the pull leaf blower that has like probably a cone that is like this big. And I went and I had to fill it up with gas. I had like 1 or 2 greens left to blow off because we were aerating. And I'm driving back from where we fill up with gas up the 10th fairway, and I hear this like sloshing noise more than I normally do. and I look back and I just see it going over the bumps and gas just popping out. And I'm like, it's not good for the grass. Fortunately, I didn't kill much, but I didn't do it on the greens, which was, whew, boy, would that have been pretty dang bad.
Yeah.
Steve, I'm just messing with you. It's the Ledouche brand. I just prefer to call it the Gregson. We had such good success with it. We're just the line is or the brand is Gregson. I mean, soon to come out.
Ledouche.
Soon to come out with an aftershave or cologne. The Gregson. When you need to smell like you did a job 3 times longer than it actually took to do.
Obsession, Calvin Klein.
Gregson. Now it's Sears.
Gregson. Ledouche.
Of course. I gotta trim some fat on my browsers here real quick. Actually, I actually wanted to look at that. Dashboard. So I was about to sit here and say I was going to go look and see what the Greg line netted us.
Not a lot.
Oh. I think it was like $35, and I'd be like, I have to crush Greg, and I'm like, wait a minute. I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea.
Yeah, so from all that merch you guys bought, we only made like $35 on that.
And all of it is being recycled back into more merch.
Oh yeah, that's how this works.
I honestly think
we don't pocket that money; it goes right back into more fun stuff.
I also, honestly, the picture of me is so extremely stereotypical Chad, like internet version.
Oh
of Chad.
yes.
So it just says Chad
oh yes
on it. Like the text is kind of writes itself.
We honestly could just make like an actual line out of that, not like totally car agnostic, and just be like the Chad, and it's just you with the double popped collar,
the backwards hat, and aviators at night.
You should just underneath it just should be like the real Giga Chad.
Yeah, right.
Because it's like that's a thing on TikTok now, Giga Chad, and it's just like super chiseled jaw. It's hilarious.
Oh, it's a thing. Like
yeah.
One of the gun tubers I follow did a Giga Chad version, and it's just so over the top.
Yes.
If you're ever, I'm not gonna read it here. But if you ever want to laugh, just get the Urban Dictionary definition of Giga Chad.
I'm sure it's fantastic.
It's hysterical. And like, yeah, it's like, well, first of all, this is the Giga Chad, right? Like the chiseled jawed, like very much not me. Oh wait, I didn't hit the transition button.
Yes, that's
very
exactly
much not me. But like,
yes.
Where is it? Oh, come on, it's got to be here somewhere. But at any rate, to a blue steel pose. To be honest, nothing's topping like peak college dickhead Chad.
That's accurate.
You know, the Chad who gave quite literally zero fucks.
Oh yeah.
I was basically
college Chad is best Chad.
Yeah. There's actually a
Kidding,
Chad style. I just gotta get the urban. Where is it? No. All right. Let's see if. All right. Absolute Chad. So the Urban Dictionary, I get everything, except like the last bit of it of Urban Dictionary. Just because I'm sending people there to look at it, obviously nothing I believe in, but like basically they'd have an ultimate man, the Chad to out Chad all Chads, the alpha of the alpha males. If a woman were to look in his direction, she would immediately orgasm. His jawline is a perfect 116 degrees, the absolute Chad to end all Chads. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Or you're in a happy relationship with your girlfriend or wife, this man will kidnap her and give her the most severe case of Stockholm Syndrome that has ever been seen to man.
Oh my god.
Next to this.
That's super accurate for that picture.
Super accurate for me. I mean, what the hell?
No.
He says painfully single for longer than I'm willing to admit. Shocking, I know, right? To the probably 0 ladies watching this right now.
It's all right.
What?
Got to find a car check at Carlisle. That's where it's at.
I mean, sure. I'm not...
Actually, it's. I wouldn't recommend it.
Would not recommend. I'm trying to find this.
Maybe from the bikini competition.
There's one of those?
There used to be. I don't know if they did it last year, but they're
like 2023. Like,
yeah, there was. Yeah, I mean, it's
I'm not.
the middle of
I
Pennsylvania.
would like one, and I feel like the winner, the top 3 individuals in the exhaust competition, should be judges. Just saying, I'm pretty confident I'm going to finish in the top 3.
I don't remember if they did one. Usually there is one, but I can't remember if they did one last year. I want to say yes, but I honestly don't remember.
Doug goes, do not find a car chick at Carlisle.
No. It is swamp donkey.
I just want to put that out there. Real talk, I'm there for the cars. I'm there to hang out. I don't really want, if I get women of all, not gonna whatever, because you guys are sending them my way. Don't do that.
Don't do those things.
Like, even if it's coming from the best possible place in your heart. Not why I'm at Carlisle. I'm there to hang out, see awesome cars, make content like that. That's why I'm there. And look, Greg hasn't gotten you hats yet. Why?
Nice deflection. Yeah, no. As a very heterosexual male that enjoys the female persuasion, yes, don't look for chicks at Carlisle. Good advice. Period. End of discussion. And the whole reason I brought up the bikini competition is because it's fun to watch, because most of the people in the bikini competition shouldn't be watched ever. It shouldn't be happening at all. No thanks. Hard pass.
I'll take you.
People that have been there before on chat can confirm. It's not great.
I'm curious why I haven't seen. Let's see here. Greg, I'm checking some tech things. Just sit tight for one moment.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Doug says some of the Dickinson girls are okay. They should still be there in early May. What are the Dickinson girls? I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, sport. It's weird. I don't get alerts on Streamlab for members. Interesting. Done. Alrighty. Dickinson College. It's in Carlisle.
Dickinson College. Okay.
I'm 40.
Oh, I didn't realize that's where Dickinson College was. Cool.
Fun fact, I almost went to Fairleigh Dickinson University for college.
I pass by there almost once a week.
Yep, I was almost a Red Devil, or whatever the heck they're calling themselves these days.
No,
I was like, yes, I want to go here. And my dad's like, I'm paying for college. You're going to county. I'm like, okay.
Cool. Thanks, Dad. Not argue with that.
I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, that's why I don't have student debt, or never did.
Right.
I mean,
well, my parents and I had a deal. They pay for college. I pay for them being super old. And I'm like, done. So they paid for my Penn State education, and I'm going to pay for lots of colostomy bags.
Yo, dude.
Very not
Assisted
excited about that part of it, but that's what's happening.
Assisted living is no joke, homie.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. I know.
So it was, unfortunately had to look into that.
Oh, I know. I already have.
There are multiple Lamborghinis you can own for that monthly bill.
Oh yeah, I know. It's not fun. As someone who was raised by my parents who sat me down at 14 and were like, well, Greg, if we ever die, here's what needs to happen. I'm like, cool, I'm 14. Let's not have this conversation for another 20 years or so. But like, they're always just like, yeah, let's have these conversations. But like, I've already had that in mind and looked it up, even though they're not close. And I'm like, all right, well, now I know the pricing of it. So yeah, it's not fun. But at the time I was 18 and I'm just like, yeah, pay for my education. I know it's going to be like quintuple the costs when you guys get older, but cool. Maybe inflation will help me out. No, it has not.
Yeah.
Thanks, pandemic. Yeah. Fucking jerk.
But yeah, I mean, to be fair, I didn't actually pay for college. The college paid for me to go there. If you could possibly believe that.
Right.
Perks of being an athlete.
Yes.
It's always funny because like I had friends who were like National Honor Roll, IP, AP, like doing like way better grades than me, and I just skated by with like my just above average class selection, and I was getting more offers from colleges because I did other stuff.
I will be right back. I have a crying child.
And you have to pay for its college.
Yeah, don't remind me of that either.
Long-term care insurance isn't that expensive. The average person only lives about 6 months in long-term care. Yes. All right, not to bring the tone of this whole fucking thing down, but after kind of going through that with Pops, it's something we looked into with my mother. But yeah, anywho, cars. Who likes them? Anyone? Show of hands. Let's go talk about that. Hanson actually brought the Corolla GR or GR Corolla by so I could take a look at it. Cool little car. Crazy how tiny that engine is and how much room next to it there is for stuff. Like the intake looks out of place. And I was like, compare and contrast my engine bay, where like you literally in the GR Corolla, you can take your hand, reach down and touch the transmission because there's that much space. Because you know how like the engine sits here and then the transmission's kind of over here and this openness is right here. You could literally touch the trans. And in the Mustang, I can barely see daylight through the engine bay. But it's such a cool little car. It actually, I think, has the same size tires for being significantly smaller than Greg's car, as you can see in where Greg usually is over here. I have not. Oh yeah, I have actually seen the sleeves on the GR. They're no joke. That engine is insane. I think people are talking like 450 out of them, knocking on the door of 500 before you really have to mess with them too much. They're insane. It's like, honey, I cut the 2J in half and made it out of aluminum. And it's not really a 2J at all, but you get what I'm saying. But like, that's the craziest thing to me is that they went out and they developed that thing. They went out and developed that little engine, and all they had to do was duplicate it again. I understand adding like to camshafts, you have to make sure. I understand there's a little more engineering that goes into it. All they had to do was duplicate that. And they had their straight six, and they didn't need any of this BMW nonsense. But then again, if they had to do it all in-house, they probably would have priced them out of contention with the Supra. Either way, it annoys me. Doug goes, anything is better than an early 2000s V6 engine bay. Having next to no experience with that, I'll have to agree with you. Mark goes, they should put that engine in everything. I agree. I heard rumors that they're thinking about putting it into the next iteration of the 86 and BRZ, which would be insane. That would be awesome because that is a tiny engine. So it's not like, okay, so you have the flat four, lower CG, doesn't really tiny front to back cross section. I get that. But you have to go, like, if you ever get the chance, go and look at the GR Corolla's engine bay and see how minuscule this engine is. It cannot mess with the CG that much. And to have an extra 60, 70 horsepower from an engine that sounds actually really good, even considering it's a three-cylinder. I mean, it absolutely should go in, assuming it can be done without jacking the price of the car up ridiculously. Because the ethos of the 86, the ethos of the BRC is that it's cheap, fun car. To turbocharge it, you would make it something that it isn't, and you would price people out of it. But man, if they could figure out a way to keep the price around what it is and put that three-cylinder in there, I can't believe I'm saying that about a three-cylinder, but that would make for arguably one of the most perfect sports cars you could buy. Doug, the BRZ is a great car with a shit motor. A good motor would really make it worthwhile. The 2.4 did fix the torque trough. So it is, the new generation is significantly better.
I don't think it did.
But it's just not an exciting engine. Greg should buy one, or should have bought Hanson's and put a Volvo 5-cylinder in it.
That would have been cool. Yeah, I agree with that.
They fit, the 2J fits in there, so. Doug also has a 3-cylinder Massey Ferguson tractor, and honestly, it's my favorite sounding tractor. Although that's not quite at car RPM. Let me put it to you this way: these days, you can make an exhaust sound pretty good, regardless of cylinder count, if you just put the right resonators and mufflers and stuff on them. So I wouldn't necessarily be worried about that, but like. That an 86 with 300 horsepower, turbocharged, makes that noise. I think, again, if the price point can stay broadly similar, that would be a car that would reinvigorate the 86 BRZ, because I think it's just kind of now. It was cool when it came out. It was our first FRS was our first ever press car. So I always have a soft spot for those cars, but it just it doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Andrew over on YouTube goes, the hardest interior parts to find for my S80 is a front dash AC defroster. I'm gonna have to go to an auto salvage yard that has another S80 that has a nice clean dash with front AC defrosters. That's basically it. We were talking about hard to find parts earlier. It sucks, but like, I mean, honestly, if stuff's hard to find and you can get to a bunch of salvage yards, I'd try to salvage as much of that crap as possible. Sounds like a good way to finance another build.
Absolutely.
Mark goes, wrong. There are engines out there that sound absolutely astastic outside of being silenced. I mean, I'm sure there are, but just for poops and giggles and the sake of the conversation, name some. I'd be interested to hear.
Yes, name them. That's good conversation. That's good content.
Yes. Steve is calling it a night, man. Just a lot. Need to rest. Hey, man, get your rest, man. We appreciate you popping in when you can. Focus on you first, man.
Yeah. Of course.
We want you to be all right. You know, be good.
We're always here for a good distraction, man, whenever you need us.
Absolutely. And go watch all the Mustang videos on repeat if you ever need a good distraction. Please help. Those videos need
Yes.
to pick up.
They're actually doing. They're honestly, they're actually doing pretty good relative to our size. Quite frankly, because we were getting like 400 or 500 on the main channel with the Mustang videos.
Okay.
And we were at like a bajillion more subscribers compared to what we have on Shifting Lane's Garage. I mean, I think they're decent as appropriate to sub size for now. They just need to get more traction, I think, in the SEO section. Other than that, I think they're doing pretty good.
So, Mark has mentioned something.
I agree, except for the one thing Chad is going to bring up and show you, because I know what he's bringing up and showing you, and it is the thing from Speed Academy. So I know exactly what he's bringing up. So, yes, VQs sound like a big trombone filled with dog poop, except for what Chad is bringing up. Because this thing changed my mind about how VQs can sound. However, big old caveat, it's basically a race car.
I mean, yes.
It is a race car.
Gosh, I'm just trying to find this one video. So, Greg, let's see here. Oh, the tire test. I think that's... oh, for Christ's sake. I want the video, not the article saying what everything... there we go.
All right, I'm going on mute so people can hear it.
Oh, hold on, I just want to make sure it's the right video.
Oh, okay.
Yes, this is...
That doesn't count. It absolutely counts. When most VQs sound horrible, you need to hear what a good one actually sounds like. Because you could do this to a road car.
Yeah,
this isn't just a mutually exclusive thing for a race car. It's something you can do to a road car, so it is valid.
It basically... here we go. It sounds like a 911 race car.
Yes, I heard flat six.
I love that my car has a little bit of that transmission line, by the way. I love it the most I can. You're also hearing some regen because this is actually hybrid. You know, like PERS and stuff. So, at any rate, let's return to normally Greg Audio. I used to think the VQ sounded like ass too. But long tubes, the right resonator, and not a basically open muffler.
Yes.
There's a whiff. They actually do sound very, very good. The problem is most people don't put the right long tubes on them. They don't put the right exhaust on them, and they end up making them sound like ass. It's just like four-cylinder Honda engines can sound good, but most people put a fart can on them. Is your garage attacking you?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was.
Oh, let me help. That'd be great if I walked across and you saw me walking into Greg's garage.
that would be hilarious and amazing editing.
Just did like a green screen one night where it looked like I was actually in my normal spot, and then I just walk over, slap you in the back of the head. Like you just see my hand come out of nowhere and slap you. Oh, Kate and I could time that up though.
That would be great.
But I will agree with you that most people don't do the VQ right. And that most of the time it sounds like ass. And then from factory, it sounds just plain odd. I'll give you that. But especially the stroked VQs. But if you get the right set of long tubes, I forget what the primaries are. There's a specific size primary that sounds epic. It just sounds like a much more exotic motor than a freaking Nissan V6. Like that's
Yeah.
it does the ugly flatulent undertone. Like I said, I understand the hate for the VQ, but I mean, let's face it. There's some engines like not for nothing. You're very rarely going to get a road car diesel engine to sound exciting. It's just hard to do that, right? Just because
Yeah.
it's the nature of diesel, especially in small displacement and not. I don't know what the best way to describe it, but like it's the difference between you have a 3.5 liter V6 diesel that comes in the Ram, and then you have a straight six diesel the Cummins, right? Like they don't sound the same. But Greg, what is the worst sounding car to you in the world? Or
Oh
engine?
my god, the worst sounding car to me?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Oh man. Any crossover CVT.
I mean, anything with the CVD sounds awful because it sounds like someone's riding the clutch in a manual.
Yeah, well, my mother-in-law drives a 2013 Nissan Juke
Ouch.
with a CVT,
Double
and
ouch.
it does not sound good. Um, yeah, basically it just goes "Ree," and that's what it sounds like the whole time. It's awful. It's pretty bad. Fiat 500s sound pretty bad. Abarths sound excellent. 500s sound like a big bag of crap.
You know a car I'm going to say that doesn't sound particularly great, that might be an unpopular opinion? The RS Focus.
I agree with that too, actually. It's not a great sounding car. As far as four-cylinder hot hatches go, it might be one of the worst.
Yeah, it just has everything you hate about four bangers. I understand that
Yeah.
I love the engineering. I love the power. I love the car. The engine is underwhelming.
Yeah. It's not it's not it's not great. Doug says Abarth versus 500 is probably the biggest spread in fun versus stock. I disagree emphatically because the Dodge Challenger and Charger exist. If you look at the bare bones version of the Challenger and the Charger, they have like V6s that produce next to nothing in horsepower. Like 300, I think, is the 296 or something. It's not good. And at the top end of that spectrum, you have the Hellcat Red Eye Reach Around, or whatever the hell they're calling all of these things now, for the last call stuff, that have 800, 900, now over 1,000 horsepower with the Demon 170. I would say that's probably the biggest spread in fun versus stock, quite frankly. I totally get your point on a Barth versus 500. It's a good spread, but as far as like a single model, base to top, I don't think that there is a very large argument for the Charger and the Challenger being the biggest gap in that, because you're getting bare bones Dodge, which is not great, versus top of the line Dodge, which is actually quite good. In materials and build quality aside, as far as like the engine is concerned and the fun factor, it's a real hard argument to make against that.
What about base Civic Hybrid to Type R?
I don't know. Sure, but the horsepower gap doesn't make up that difference to me. Because you're talking about like a 295 horsepower V6 versus a near 1,000 horsepower V8. to me, that's a much bigger fun factor gap than a Civic hybrid to a Type R. Totally get the point, but like I don't know. I don't see that being a bigger gap in fun slash performance than the Charger or Challenger.
Mark says the CTS.
I don't agree with that one either.
I don't agree
I think
with that.
it's closer.
The 2-liter turbo base engine is actually a fun little engine, fun little car, and you can get a ton of horsepower out of them for not much work. Mm-hmm. Justin goes full electric to twin turbo. Yes, and also no, because like even the most boring of electric cars are still going to just rampagingly steam off the line. And there's I mean, granted, it's fun in different ways, right? If you want to just like win the 60-foot race that is most traffic light races, sure. Fun anywhere else? No. Twin turbo car? Well, let's face it, if it has 2 turbos, it's generally in something relatively exciting. So, yeah. Let's think. I mean, based on that logic, the Mustang has a big spread.
Yeah, Mustang's a pretty big one too.
I mean, if you want to go,
however,
they make a 500 with way more horsepower than any of the last calls. They make it.
Yeah, that's true.
They make a twin turbo with 1200.
True. From factory though, really?
It's a limited run Shelby.
Okay. Interesting. Either way, I mean, this is a good topic. Maybe we bring it up next week. What's the biggest like performance gap in all of automotive culture? And we can all take a week to think about it. Because I'm not sure we're going to solve it tonight, but like I think that's a really good question for next week. Because you could even take some exotics or exotic companies.
Hey, Camaro's in the same boat because they have like a 260 version.
Yes, yeah, they have a very low horsepower version, and then they have stuff like the Capo Camaro, which is like a pure drag pack with over 1,000 horsepower from factory, like a 9.4 liter V8, which is nuts.
That's
so like
detuned. There are people getting way more power out of that.
Yeah,
but
it's crazy.
It's designed to fit in it, not to go on a tangent as we near the unfortunate end of our show. But it's tuned to be in a class that's, I don't want to say noob friendly, but not, you don't have to be a seasoned drag racer. Like it's plug and play.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, good homework for next week. Everyone bring their biggest performance gap in the automotive industry from base to top. And it could be anything. It could be an exotic, it could be a trim, it could be a company. I'm curious to what you guys have to say.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, if you're going company, I mean.
Well, yeah, I mean, companies, like, I'm just thinking company, like, what's like the base level Ferrari right now versus like the top of the line, which I think is like, at this point, an SF90. So like 1,000 horsepower or whatever. And then like your base is like the 296. So your base is like a 296, which is still pretty like insanely impressive. But like,
I mean, I'm willing to bet
is that sort of gap justified?
What's the least powerful Koenigsegg and the most powerful Koenigsegg? Like, there's probably 1,000 horsepower in that too.
That was a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, I think there's that. The guys, Doug and Mark are kind of on a good front. I think another topic would be like old school pocket rockets, like the SRT4, the Cobalt SS.
Yeah.
Like that sort of stuff. So, chat, think about it. And then we'll discuss next week. I think that's a pretty cool topic.
Yeah.
And, but for this week, guys, I actually have to hop on a call, if you can believe that.
Oh my God.
And, but as for this week, guys, that's pretty much a wrap. As always, I'm Chad. That is Gregson.